Hey everybody, welcome back to Recall the Podcast. My name is Josh,
I'm Justice.
and today it actually happened. We have Awake at Last. Hey guys,
Hey.
What's up, Josh?
would you mind going ahead and saying who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So my name is Vincent. I am the singer of Awake at Last.
My name is Eric. I play guitar in Awake at Last.
All right, very, very good. And Eric's birthday is coming up.
Yeah.
It
Happy
is.
birthday.
October 19th,
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday.
bud.
1989.
Yeah, this will come out after your birthday has happened, but we wanted to make sure to mention that.
No,
at
that's
least
okay,
earlier.
because then I'll get an extra string of happy birthdays.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There
Maybe
you go.
maybe
That's
I'll get
right.
another cake out of it.
And we also have to make the announcement that we are going to be Recall the Moment. We'll be doing live streams here in the future. We got one planned before the end of the month, and then we're going to be doing it once a month for the foreseeable future. So make sure to check that. Now, look, it's not going to be big, fun, and very tight mixes and stuff like that. It's all going to be live stuff. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna see all of our mess ups, but all
That's
of our
when some of
fun.
the best stuff comes out, though.
Right. So keep that in mind, but make sure to tune in. We'll make an announcement on the Facebook and stuff before we go live.
Don't undersell it. It's going to be epic.
They
They will be in here slaying it.
We'll see. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning then. Awake at Last. What's the story behind it? How did it start? What's going on with it?
Awake at Last started a long time ago. I was still in... Well, I guess how far back are we going? Are we going back? Because Eric and I
Totally your decision. How far it
started
goes.
everything when we were still in high school. You guys were there for some of that.
Yeah.
So like,
Auburn
before
City.
Awake at Last
Yeah.
was Awake at Last, we had other projects that Eric and I worked on. We were high school buddies. One of our other mutual friends, girlfriends, was a friend of mine from school, or not from school, from the mall, because we were all, the mall kids.
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
mall rats for
And
sure.
she was like, "Oh my god, you should totally like go jam out with my boyfriend and his band." And then that was the day I went in there. I was super nervous. I remember the first time ever. I was all nervous. I was like shaking, holding my lyric sheet. Then we sang and we had a good time. And then Eric and I literally that day, probably that's where it all began. That's when we
Yeah.
became best buds, like for forever. It was just, it's never stopped throughout all the highs and the lows. Awake at Last did form a little bit later though, after we had gone through some moves and some different things. And I had come back from moving for a little while, and I just knew I wanted to get a band, and I knew I wanted to take it real serious this time. I think we formed it in March of 2011 is when we
Yeah.
like got in the garage and was like,
Well,
let's
that's
see
very
what happens,
specific
you
on when
know?
it started.
Yeah.
Usually, like for us, like if anybody asks, like when this Hazers Mutual or something
Right.
started,
I feel like it was in March because I remember
2005-ish.
Yeah, I
I think it
remember
was sooner than that, though. But
Maybe.
I remember the date because I think it was like one of my friend's birthdays, and I was like, oh wow, like the band has the same birthday as my buddy, and I just kind of stuck. But ever since then, I mean, we did a couple of local shows. We went around. We were doing all kinds of stuff, writing a lot of songs. And then I would say 2016, following, was it 16 that Purgatorium came out, or 17 maybe?
Probably around
It was
16.
when Purgatorium came out, that was the first time we were able to get like a full like video. It was like our first like real attempt at like putting something out. And
Right.
to this day, that song is one of those songs that's like, are you gonna play Purgatorium? You know, at the show. It's like, yeah, we will. We've been playing it for like almost 20 years now. Yeah, we got it. It's not 20 years, but But
like 10,
yeah, at least
maybe.
10,
maybe
Yeah.
less.
at least
9,
10.
8.
Yeah, almost 10, because 2026 would be 10 since it dropped, if we dropped it in 2016. But I remember around that time, though, Eric and I, when we like really were getting the band going, I was like really into law of attraction and like manifesting your reality and like
Right.
visualizing.
Yeah.
Like my mom
Yeah.
had like slipped the book across my desk or like put me on the movie or whatever. I was super into it, and I like got Eric into it, and we were like, let's try it, let's see what happens. And we just kind of from there, that's where Awake at Last got a lot of its like positive manifest your own reality kind of flavor. It's kind of like from those early days.
Right.
But yeah, we started as little high school buds, just jamming out, playing local shows, lots of fire halls.
Yeah. Oh, I remember
The talent
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, talent
Smyrna
show
High.
at Smyrna. If we hadn't won that,
I
we probably
remember
still-
that.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
we probably still would have been a band. But I feel like that first like little victory, even as something as small as a high school Like, you know, because especially for me, I was bullied a lot in high school, so like nobody really liked me.
Same.
But following that talent show, like when they saw that we were a band and that I had like talent and I could sing and play guitar or whatever it was, everyone was like so much nicer to me, and that was like so validating. So I was like, that is one of those like inciting incidents where I think like that gave us the confidence we needed to be like, oh, well, if we can like face down our high school, like the people who are just like, you know, so not everyone's nice in high school. It's like, if we could just play and like face them down and then like somehow pull it off, like I think that gave us kind of like, I don't know, it gave me like that boost. It's like, oh, we could do this. Like, let's go, you know, let's go wherever we can with it.
Does it make you feel old yet?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very old.
There are many elements that make me feel old now, even just like the headbanging and the jumping around and everything. Like, we go do a weekend run. I mean, I always, like, if I have to take off work for it, I always take an extra day off before I go back to work because I'll need a day to just, like, not exist and, like, heal and drink tea and, like, all that good stuff because I'll just... You know, you can't be headbanging all that craziness. Now when I got like rickety hinges, you know.
You realize you're old that when before the show you're just like, what do I do for 5 hours before I play?
Yeah, literally.
Oh man, yeah, I've been working with a lot of like I'm 37, I'm gonna be 38. And I've been working with, I know, right? I've been working with a lot of people that are a lot younger than that now. And like these new guys, they're like, when's the last time your knees have been like that far up? And I was like, dude, it's been a long time.
That's one thing I love about the like rock and roll mentality though, is like even though your body still deals with the like, you know, pressures, your mind is somehow still 23. And
that's
right.
Like,
I will not stop. It's like I could do this forever. And then, you know, you have those days where you're like, I don't know if I could do this forever, but I'm certainly going to try.
Do you have any memorable highlights from your time in Awake at Last so far?
Go ahead, Eric. I want to hear yours.
I would say the most memorable highlight is probably like when Octane played Purgatorium, and then I remember our coach Todd McCarty, he was all like, "It's awesome, you guys are on the test drive. You know, don't get your hopes up." And I was just like, "No, they're gonna put it into rotation." And then finally they put it in rotation, and it was just like it actually like it was a big like step for the band, a place where you know we had 2 managers come in wanting us at the time, and I was just like, wow. I just remember telling my mom, I was like, "Thanks for encouraging me to do my dreams," because you know, it was a huge win at the time, and it's still a huge one now because like we're still somewhat riding that.
Yeah, that definitely put us out there a lot more. It was like one of those movie moments. You know how like when you have the dream when you're a 16-year-old and you like have the rock and roll dream, there's always that scene in the movie where they like hear their song played on the radio for the first time. That was the like I mean, and we've gotten play at other things, but because Octane is just such a powerhouse and it was such a huge opportunity, such a huge like stepping stone. Yeah, I could totally see that. Why that's a highlight. That really did change things.
But before that, it was like we were like begging to like open up for any like show that was like happening or like play this city, book our own locals, and then it was like a night and day difference because after that radio ad and the attention we got during that time, it just was like it was a whole new animal.
It gave us like a ledge to stand on.
Very cool. Would you like to field the next one, sir?
So for your band, is the songwriting process more collaborative or independent as far as you, Vince, or?
It's a mixed bag. I would argue, though, I feel like almost every song, especially like back in the day, it's a little different. Back in the day, when you were writing with your band, it was like when you could get together in the garage with everybody's instrument,
like
and
that
you were
now.
like in there jamming, right? Yeah, and that was when like it was still like not as accessible to have like home studios. Like I love the leaps and bounds that have been made in the industry for home studio stuff. The fact that like it gives everybody like a canvas to paint on to like get their stuff out there has definitely changed the songwriting process because, you know, as you become, you know, we're adults, you got stuff to do, some people got work, it's not easy to have that, like, all right, dude, Thursday practice, like, see you there, like, it's not as easy, it's like, oh, dude, I got to work, or I got called in, you know, that kind of stuff. It always definitely, back in the day, started with, like, Eric and I, in a room with some guitars. I was always a guitar player and singer back then, in the early phases.
Right.
And, and then, when we could get the band together, and those few summers where we did have a lot of access, some of the stuff was written, with everybody in a room, like, oh, well, let's try this, let's try that, and you could be like, oh, try a drum beat that kind of does this, or like do a half step here, and and then we would record like a really crappy version of it on someone's phone, and then take that into the studio and be like, all right, cool, I see what we did here, or recently with the like I said, the leaps and bounds of the technology, a lot of the newer stuff has started with Eric and I in the room. So like now it'll be him and I just chilling in the studio. Because there's so many cool instruments and plugins we can play with now, and he'll be able to go into more about that.
And
than
Eric knows how to use every single one.
I can literally like hum to him, like I want this like choir to go like ha 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 ha, and he's just like, got it. And he like finds the plugin and he like plants the notes in, and then we just kick it in, throw some drums on, and I'm like, oh, give me the guitar, and then it's like so. But we try to be as collaborative as we can. We've cycled through a lot of different band members over the years. I always. Like everyone says, Eric and I are the OGs, and that is true. I mean, like we are the two primary starting members of this band. Like we've been doing it since we were kids,
Right.
And we've had some come and go, and we still love them all. We wish everyone the best.
Yeah,
Sometimes the paths just don't line up, and with our current band, we got a really talented group of guys. Drew's been with us for a while, very very good bass player, and he likes to collaborate, and he gives us a little bit of that. He gives us that like younger. That younger era things, because he's like listening to like the stuff that the cool kids are listening to, where Eric and I are still like carrying the emo torch of like hard rock.
Anytime
and
I see Drew
stuff,
on TikTok, he's like always in like these flashy costumes.
He's a character. He is such a character, but it's great to collaborate with him, and we have Nick and Sven, very talented musicians. Sven. The cool thing with Sven is he knows how to program some too. So if we do something and we just give ourselves a basic drum beat to write to, you can send it to him and he'll like humanize it. He'll be like, oh, like I could do this, or
you go.
He can program it the way a drummer can play it, and he'll know, and then he'll know it when we get to rehearsals, like because he's the one who was like, oh yeah, I know what I was thinking when I wrote this or whatever. Right. So it's always been. We try to be as collaborative as possible, but there are songs sometimes that pop up where Eric and I will just like sit down. Knock it out from beginning till end, and then then sometimes we'll still ship it off like, oh hey, if you want to change the bass up or if you want to throw a little something here or there, but like we'll usually get the foundation together.
Right.
Yeah. Usually it just revolves around, oh, I got a new plugin. Oh, we're gonna write a song today. It's like, oh, we got to write this song because I got this new drum set and I want to see how it sounds. And pretty much almost every song lately has revolved around that.
It's like, oh, this just sounds cool. Like, what's a melody we can throw in here?
It's like, oh, you thought we were going to do vocals today? Oh, I think we're actually just going to make an instrument day and play with this new plugin.
Instrument days are one of my favorites, though. I do love that. I love doing vocals, too, obviously, but instrument days are always, I love piecing stuff together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it do be like that sometimes. Like I'll come downstairs and I'll just be like, "Hey, bud, what you working on?" He's like, "Oh, just a little something for this new drum set I got or this new guitar lick," and then he'll play. I'm like, "Dang, that sounds sick. All right, let's write it. Like, what do we want to talk about?" But other times, I mean, the other day when we wrote a newer song, and I was depressed, really low. And when I came in, he could tell, he could feel it. He was like, "Oh, dang, like where are you at right now?" And then we ended up with this like really solid, like kind of power ballady sounding song because I was like, the best way I know how to get through the low points is to like push through them. And like, if I can take it out of my head and give it like a separate entity in a song or whatever it is, like it's helped. And I mean, ever since we started that process, and we're still working on the song, but ever since we started it, like I've noticed my vibration kind of going back up. So sometimes it really just starts, sometimes it starts with a plug-in, sometimes it starts with a feeling. We just, you just write.
Yeah, sometimes Vince has an idea coming in as he's driving up. Yeah. And we're like, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'll be like singing in the car, like, ooh, this would be cool. Like, what kind of guitar chords can we put behind that,
It's like you sent me a little vocal last night.
We've never written a song starting with like an acapella or anything like that. It's always started with like a guitar riff we add and build on it. So I had like a little thing that I had been thinking of, and I had sent it to him, and I was like, let's do something different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think
So-
experimenting, and like I said, the fact that it's so available now, if you have even a decent program or even just a starter setup, I mean,
Or an Uncle Eric.
yeah, or an Uncle
Yeah.
Eric, you know?
Yeah, I have always found out or realized that there's no one way to start a song. There can be inspiration. You could be like, I don't know, on Splice, and there's a loop that like you're drawn to, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's like, oh, I'm hearing this riff off this loop, and like it's crazy. And then, like you said, there could just be a solo vocal, and it's just like this is powerful. We can come off of something with this.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've written like a cold open with vocals. You know, that is a good way to write songs, though, because you know, especially like. I learned the other day, like, whenever I'm writing a guitar melody, like, if I'm like, ooh, I want to put a lead over this, I've learned over time that the melody I'm playing on guitar that I think just sounds like a sick guitar lead is actually the melody that the vocal should be playing.
Gotcha.
Like, it's like a weird, it's like my brain.
I get you. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I write on guitar, and I'm like, oh, this is a sick lead idea. Like, I want to put this cool riff in here. But then in reality, like, that, like, you know, riff should just be what the vocals are doing, because that will sit on top of everything better than even the guitar
Vince
would,
is the melody master.
Yeah,
I'm the rhythm master.
Yeah, Eric B. Eric B.
I know the rhythms. He knows the melody.
I mean, it takes all kinds to make the band work.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
I still to this day though, like, can't shred. Like, I can't like really
Same.
like like I still to this day I struggle with that. I'm always doing like melodies that follow the chorus, you know, like and I'm like, yeah, this is sick, you know. But I wish I could just, you know, do like sweep picking and like crazy soaring solos. I just not there yet. I'll try. You know, metronome. Just hop on the metronome, go through the scales. Ding, 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 ding.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying, but
Eric, I want to go into a little bit of like how long have you been producing, engineering? Like, what got you started recording and stuff like that?
Well, I'd say like 5 years ago, I really got into it.
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
I swear, Eric disappeared for like 6-8 months, and next time I saw him, he was like had a whole studio set. He was like, I've been doing this the entire time.
Wow.
It came into a time where there was like literally nothing to do because we were supposed to be staying in, and then so I was like on GarageBand, and I have like in high school growing up, I'd always like worked a DAW and always had like interest in it, and then you know, during that time period, I was just like, okay, like, you know, we can take something more than just demos and actually like turn it into the production, and eventually it just makes the writing process so much easier, because it's like, you know, we can come out with a day or two of work, and it's like, you know, we can have presentable songs, ideas, you know, to work off, show band members, show management, whatever, and see if that's like something we want to continue to roll with on the song or change directions or whatever. So I'd say about 5 years I've been doing it pretty heavily, and then, you know, falling down that rabbit hole, going between kick and snare.
It's a lot.
Yeah. How's this thump between the kick and the snare?
Right.
I try not to do that anymore, though. Like if I spend more than 10 minutes on that, I'm gonna ruin the mix. So I got to move on and come back.
Yeah, even when we were younger, we always had something. Like, we'd have like Cubase or something. You know, some of those early, like before,
like that old
before
Pro
their start.
Track.
You know, before. I even remember when they had recorders that had like, you just like had the mixer on the thing, and you push a button, and it burnt a CD at the end of it. You're like, we did it, guys! Like, it's our demo.
That old Tascam. Yeah, that Tascam.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you even used to do some stuff with it back then, but I mean, it's just come so far though. Like, back then, the only way to get those good drum sounds or those good, like, you know, guitar reamps
10
to
microphones
go, like,
on a drum.
or
like,
you need to like go to someone who had access to those plugins. But as the industry's grown, I mean, like, now it's like, oh, I really want this drum set to sound like Gojira, and you're just like, boop. You're like, that's exactly what I wanted that to sound like, you know. And then you can obviously do tweaks, but even back then you showed promise with it, so it is crazy to see how far he's come with it. You know? And
in the high school days, like recording drums was, we would take our PA system, we'd take all the mics we had, and we'd mic up the drum set. It would come
like SM58s
into one channel back into like the Tascam interface. So once you recorded the drums, that was it. You didn't have like you couldn't, set things. You couldn't EQ things.
Any editing you had to do, you had to physically move the little like the sound wave,
Yep, it was on. It ended up all on one track.
Yeah.
Man.
And then I got an 8-track recorder, and then that introduced Drumagog.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Drumagog, something like that. And then for a while I fell out of it, and then came back to it.
For drums specifically, because you focus a lot on your drum tracks when you're recording.
Oh yeah.
Do you prefer to have someone come in and do drums live, or is it more cohesive to just use a MIDI plugin now?
So on the aspect of typically, like I like to produce. I will go in on a track, and like if a band's like they've got this track and they want to track it, that's what we'll do. But a lot of times, like I like to be involved in the writing. Like I like to consider myself an outsider that wants to help progress the band, that's not attached to anything. So in the aspect of like, if we're gonna start ground up in a song, I'd probably want to program the drums first.
Yeah.
And then, we could work with the drummer, and like if they're there, they can give me some ideas on, or we'll collaborate together on the drums. And then like if they really want to do the live drums, then we'll go to a studio and get those tracks done, and they'll send it back to me.
Very good.
Yeah, MIDI is like so much like faster to just get the idea out and like give the guitar player something that's perfectly on the click to like go with.
Right.
Yeah.
And and of course live drums sound great, especially if someone's got a really nice kit.
Yeah.
But like that also involves going to another space, putting whatever money you need to, unless you have like a space where you can like mic up drums and have it be sound treated. But not everybody has that in their home studio, right? So it's like, I could kind of see both. Some drummers really want to just be in there in the live room, and you can get some really good drums that way. Whenever we go into our bigger studios, there's always that nice like drum with like the big clear,
be a good drummer
like
too.
the big clear.
They have to be a good drummer, and there has to be that understanding that like once you track those drums, that's pretty much what you got. Like there's no changing this later. Like it gets very difficult. Like if you have a drummer performing. And even if you're sample replacing kicks and snares, like you have their drums in the overheads and in the room mics, so you can't just be like, well, if the kick's off or this is off, there's not really fixing it. So there's definitely cons to it too, and same as far as if you've already started working on the song, and then the drummer goes and he changes things, and you can't just. If there any sample replacement, you can't just go back and
right.
And
with
like,
MIDI, you can just be like, I want to try this instead. Ka-chow.
Right.
Like redo it. That's how. It's a balance.
On a personal level here, was there ever a moment that either or both of you consider questioning the continuation of the band?
No, last week, right?
Yeah, literally. Being in a band is. It's one of the greatest joys you can experience in your life, and it can also be one of the hardest kicks to your chest at the same time, because every band's going to go through highs and lows, right? And of course Awake at Last has gone through highs and lows. We've had huge wins, huge opportunities, like moments where we're like cheersing each other and jumping up and down like, yeah, we nailed it, we killed it, like this is going to be it, and then of course, there's those moments when things start to not work out. There was those moments you're going to hear no more than you're going to hear a lot of times, and that's just literally the reality of it. And, we were talking earlier about like getting older, as you get older, as, like priorities shift and move and change, like sometimes, I'm sure that thought always can be on that horizon somewhere. You're always, there's going to be moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm so tired. Like, I am so tired of the losses right now. Like, we need a big win. We just need something, And then recently, we talk about that all the time, especially as his producing is growing, and, I'm writing books and stuff now. There's just a lot going on. Yeah, well, we don't need to get into that now.
Oh, no, we definitely need to get into that one.
But to answer the question, absolutely. It's strong. And honestly, the band might not still be here if it wasn't for the friendship that Eric and I have. Because I always make the joke that we're like hetero life mates. We're like Jay and Silent Bob, right? I'll tell any girl I'm dating, I'm like, hey, like I love you, but like you need to understand, like you make me choose between you and Eric, like you gonna lose that battle, But because it's like, oh man, if we were gay, we would just be the most epic rock and roll love story in the world, But like when we get to those low points, and I mean he's had them, I've had them, we'll usually talk it out, and we usually end up coming to that conclusion of like, yeah, but if we put it down, like we'll never see you might always be they always say like you could be just at the precipice of like your next big win, and if you like the minute you give up on something is the actual minute you fail it. So when it's like, as long as you stay consistent, you keep putting it out there, and even especially recently, I feel like we've almost put twice the effort into the band, not necessarily through like social media and stuff, which we're trying to navigate and figure out,
I'm garbage at that.
Just dude, I mean, it's not easy. I'm from a different era, I'm just from a different era. But like when we get to those points, we always get to that thing where it's like, oh yeah, but if we did, then we'll never see like what it could be, and it's just like, it's not hard for us to still write music. Like we could probably write music together forever, whether or not we're like on the road or like doing huge tours. Like we'll always probably like, hey dude, what are you doing? Like let's go write a song, like let's. So there's always been those moments where you like think that you're just done, and I think that everybody experiences them. But like, luckily through the friendship and through the talks, because we have some deep talks, it's like we always come back around to like, nah, we just gotta give it one more go, like put one more coin in the jukebox, like let's see what happens here, and then it always ends up something else. Little by little, you get another reason to keep going. So it's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of highs and lows in it, and it's like we always, naturally we always like want to keep winning, and we want to be, the band posting that we got this radio ad or we got this tour, we got this, and like sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes we we watch our other friends and they're getting the ads, and we're happy for them, but it's just
makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah, it's like you're absolutely happy for them, but you're also like, man, like, like take me with you, like let's go, we can both do this,
Yeah. So there are lots of highs and lows, like little wins. Like sometimes the wins don't come through, or like sometimes there's just this littlest thing of like, maybe someone wants to check out your music that could further your career, and they haven't even listened to it yet, but like you have that in your head, and you have those things that like kind of keep you going.
Right,
because you never really know, so it's like, why end something that's impacted so many lives that, even if it's hard on us, because it is, it's hard on us sometimes, at least for me, especially psychologically, when you're as the singer, as the face or whatever, I really feel the losses when the losses come. Like I really feel the slow points, because I was even, when I was real depressed before we wrote that song the other day, I was, even talking to my girlfriend, I was like my entire personality, the last 20 years of my life have been spent as like Vincent Torres from Awake at Last Vincent, right? Like, it's like, if it were ever to like crumble, I was like, who would I even be? I would like, it's just like, it's a part of my identity. It's my entire identity. So it's something that like anything I do, like whether even the book writing, I'm hoping once I get this to a process that I can reach out to my fans at Awake at Last and be like, hey, I wrote a book. Like, you guys want to read it? That'd be awesome. Like it's just one of those things that's just so deep rooted. So, those low points could get rough, man. It's true. But like he said, there's always another possibility on the horizon. If you don't fail at something until you give up on it. Like take that to the bank. Yeah. Any listener, like if you are pursuing something, even when it gets tough, the only time you'll really fail it is if you stop pursuing it altogether. That it's, what's the old saying? It's about the journey, not the destination. Whether or not you become a multimillionaire selling artist or not, like you'll be able to tell your kids or whatever and be like, oh yeah, Dad we used to rock and roll back in the day. Like we traveled the world, like the journey, not the destination,
That's kind of like what the Recall the Moment stuff is. That's why it's all on YouTube and shit. It's something for
as long as you stay consistent with it. It's like you can't lose at it. You're always gonna find the one cool thing about the internet, and it's very weird. The internet is a weird place. You know, anything and everything all at once. But it will find your people. Like if you like do it right and you just like put the right little things in there, like you can find your people. And then, you know, I'm sure you've experienced it as you've seen your podcast grow. It's a thing. Like you'll find your peeps, you know, embrace them, you know, like let that be your community and then build off of it. You know, that's the best thing I think any artist can do in this day and age.
Yeah, that's fair. Touring wise, you guys spend a lot of time together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's not all hunky dory and lovey dovey the whole time.
You'd be surprised.
How do you handle those types of situations and being in such tight quarters all the time together? And
touring is one of my favorite things about it, and it's also one of my like least favorite things about it.
Okay.
Because it's always fun to get out there and to play music every night. That's really what you want to do. I feel like 16-year-old musician wants to be on tour all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
37-year-old musician
I want to be in bed.
is sleeping on a wooden plank in the back of a 16-passenger van, or you know. And sometimes we'll take an RV, like on a really long trip we just did. We took the RV, which was nice. Yeah. But even something as nice as an RV, you see bands like dream about it. Like, oh man, I can't wait until we have an RV.
Yeah.
It's not as roomy as you think when you have one. Like it's still tight. Like you're still tight in there. Like it's you know. And then there's just moments where it's like, you know, if you have a great night, then it's awesome. You know, you get to meet a lot of cool people. I love getting FaceTime with fans that are like longtime fans, like fans that really interact, that really come out. I love seeing them. We've gone out to breakfast with some of them and hung out, you know, like that part's awesome. I love that part of touring. Yeah. The close quarters things, definitely everyone's got their own personality. Everybody's got their own stuff going on at home sometimes. And like, there's plenty of times where like you'll see like someone's not in a good mood today, and you're like, well, do I like fuck with them? Like, do I go like, hey, what's up, dude? Like, why you looking so bummed today, dude? Like, well, you know, or you're like, all right, he's on the phone. Like, let me just let him do his thing. Right. He's like in his head. Like, I'm not gonna go mess with him. So sometimes I think the tensions can get a little high. You get a little rivalry sometimes. People can get a little itchy, you know, on the long rides. You know, especially if the shows are like, you know, not as crazy packed as you like wanted it to be. That can get to your head a little bit, but it's like, yeah, we're still playing shows though. You know, there's at least 40
you're out,
people.
you're doing
you know,
something.
There's 30 people there that was like totally there and stoked. You know, it was a smaller place or whatever. So it's definitely got its highs and lows. I love it. I like the long drives. Like Eric and I, every tour always ends with Eric and I driving home, which is funny because we're the old guys. Right. And like you think that we'd be the ones who like need to be in bed earlier and like this, but it always ends up being us. All the pups are asleep. It's that long 8 to 12 hour drive home from wherever it was. It's just Eric and I just looking at the sun rising. It's like, we did it, buddy. We got another one under our belt.
Another one in the book.
There you go.
So it's always fun. You know, the one tour was funny. The problem with touring is the only thing that separates you from being homeless and in a place that you are unfamiliar with is the van or the vehicle. So there was a moment where we were like in the desert. We were in freaking the desert. Wow. It was cactuses and tumbleweeds. And I don't know if it was the tire or the brakes or something. Something went bad on the van, and thank the gods we were able to like find a shop in this little like desert town. It was like a Borderlands town. Like I can't remember the name of the town. It was like looked like something out of a movie, and then you realize like without the van, with all of us like carrying our like MacBooks and our book bags, like walking around this town, it's like 130 degrees out, like and like some places don't even want you to hang out that long to just sit in their air conditioner. They're like, keep it moving, pal. Like you already had your tacos. And we're like, can we just plug our computer in? Like, and like sometimes so that can be some of the fun. That can be kind of fun, but it really is like the main thing that separates you from just being homeless and alone in an area you are unfamiliar with is the vehicle. So if you're a touring musician, take care of your vehicle and it will take care of you. Trust me.
You guys got robbed not too long ago.
Yo, really?
I'd say 3 years ago at this
3 years ago?
It was Portland.
That was rough.
They went and took a drill and they just drilled the passenger door key slot.
Wow.
What did they get exactly? Like guitars and
No, it was like the worst part about it is it was like the personal book bags. It was like the stuff, like your beard trimmer, personal, your toothpaste, everyone had their computer in their bag. I had me and one of the other guys on the tour. We bought Magic the Gathering cards, and we like started with starter decks, and like every date we would go like find a comic book store, buy a couple packs, and trade back and forth and like play each other when we were waiting to go on or whatever. I had like I like just gotten done at a comic book store where I spent like $50-$60 to like get this deck really ready to go.
Man.
To like, all right, buddy, you beat me last time, but I'm coming.
Right.
I like rounded out my cards. Like, I'm gonna get you. And they stole all the Magic cards out of my bag, dude. They took that. My MacBook Pro was in there. I remember that was devastating. That had like unwritten books on it, unwritten songs on it, like photos and stuff. I'll never get back now. I don't know what they did with it. And we even tracked it like to the place where we think these peeps were, and it was like one of those little like sketchy tent like communities outside of this grocery store. And like a part of us was like, we were pretty confident that we had like, we knew like kind of who had it. Like we saw this kind of really shady car, you know, someone's car got like someone tried to like make a purpose on someone's car, and it like gave us the location. We were like, oh, we pinged it. We like tried to get the police involved. That was really hard to do. Portland police were like they didn't care. I don't want to say they didn't care.
It's small priority.
But yeah, it was just like, there was way other bad stuff that was happening, but we almost wanted to go like infiltrate, like see if we could find these dudes and like get our bag back. But then we were like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I ain't trying to catch like, I ain't
trying
to catch like, I don't want to get jumped, or I didn't want anybody like get me with anything. I was like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's not worth it. Yeah. You know, because it was pretty spooky. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, it's like a whole community, and like people would walk out of there and they just looked really, tripped
Tent
out.
City,
and I was like, ugh. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know.
Because
man.
really, with Portland, if you don't get robbed, you're not getting the tourist experience.
Yeah, that's true. You
Oh,
know?
wow.
I guess that's one way to put it.
Luckily, our last experience in Portland was really good.
It
that was
was.
really fun. We were out with Skylar Drive. We played this really cool spot called Dante's Inferno. Very, very cool little bar. Had these cool like skulls and flames, and it looked like some Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
That,
so, you know, I was like,
that being
this is my
said,
jam.
no one ever left. Someone was at the van or the
Padre like stayed on the RV, like flashlight in one hand, mace in the other. Like nobody's getting into our stuff. You know, we love touring, but it's an adventure. It's like literally, I'm using a lot of our touring stories I use as inspiration for the book too, because they say you have to like be in the book when you write it. And I'm like, I'm writing this book about this musician, and I'm like, he goes through some of these like experiences that you have when you're like on the road, when you're an outsider and you are in some other place and you don't, you're kind of navigating that. And there's a lot of cool adventure in it. You know, it is fun.
I love touring. I love being out there. The main stress about it is getting there. It's like a few weeks out, and then you're just like, oh, I gotta pack my bags, try and finish up any work I didn't, get done. And then once I'm out there, it's just like, I'm just out there. It's like I have this extra sense of like energy where it's just like
because you wake up every morning and you have a purpose.
It's a different feel being around like your band members and stuff too. Just like rather than being alone in your room.
Yeah, because you're a team. You're a team. Yeah. You're like you're literally a team. Yeah, and you're getting. Your goal for the day is to get to the show safely, perform for the fans, and then celebrate at the end of the night. If you're going to drink a beer, go for it. They celebrate it at the end. But yeah, sometimes we get them early when we have to do like 4-hour swap shifts to just make sure we can get there. On the Ice 9-4 was a lot of that. Yeah. You had to be at these big spots at 7 a.m. Yeah. A lot of the bigger bands, they have drivers. We did not. So we're like, oh my God, dude, it's 11. If we don't leave now, we're not going to cover this 15-hour drive to get there by 7 a.m. tomorrow. And you'd have to be like, 4-hour shift, coffee and energy drinks. Like you go like tap your boy, like you're like in the army. You're like, all right, you're up, dude. I think I'm gonna catch like 4 hours of sleep real quick, and then the third person shift comes up. And it's like you had to get there.
Yeah, once you get out into like the West Coast on that side of the
once you cross the Mississippi
country, then like you're looking at 8 to 10 hour drives minimum for every drive.
Wow.
But you have the upside of normally, we're on the East Coast, so it's like you're gaining 3 hours. So you like you just you have a little bit more.
When you're going west, you gain time. Cool, we can get there in time. But
you want to try one?
Yeah, I guess that goes in for the next question too. Like, do you guys have any tips or tricks getting on stage? Like, when you don't feel it.
We have a Team Wildcats. We do.
Team Wildcats.
We all go into the.
I do a little rousing speech, and I'm like, all right, you guys ready? Like, today was a rough day. We had a long drive getting here.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right,
we got that tire fixed, and we are here, and we're going to bring the thunder. Are you ready? Like, Team Wildcats, that's all. That's good.
Right.
More logical tips, I would say. I always tell people underpack instead of overpack, because in the earlier phases of touring, I used to always pack too much stuff. Like,
Right.
it'd be too much. It would pile up on the bed. I didn't use half of it. Like, if you don't really play your Nintendo Switch like that, like don't even bother.
Don't bring
taking
it.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have time to actually sit there and mess with it. Like, it's just not a thing. So I would say underpack instead of overpack. Always warm up.
Yep, always warm up. Yeah,
Always
that's one
warm
thing to if you're not feeling it. Like even if you don't do vocals, I feel like you go into a 10-minute vocal warm up. It's almost like a meditative state.
Yeah,
Right,
it's like
right.
it puts you guys in harmony with each other.
Yeah, I never really like there's unless I'm really tired. I never like am like I'm like nervous to play. For me, I'm always dreading the setup. The setup of like a lot of times we have our stuff up there already, but like especially if you're like supporting other bands, you got to get your setup. You want to make sure everything works. Like you know, maybe you did it earlier, but like I don't know, maybe someone moved a cable or something. For me, it's always like making sure that we have everything we need to play and not ever have to like push the show back or lose time on our set,
Right.
and having everyone just watching us have technical difficulties.
Oh my god!
Which luckily, I mean, that's not happened in a
very
long,
often.
long time. But
when it does happen, though, the anxiety. Oh,
Yeah.
when
I
you're
can
like,
imagine.
oh no, something's not working.
Right.
And, like you see the crowd, they're all like super excited, looking at each other, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? You're like, someone figure it out. Like push a button somewhere. Oh god. But
How early do you guys have to be at a show to like get stage ready?
it kind of depends. Like it depends on like what the tour is usually calling for, or what kind of venues. Because if you're playing like more of a bar venue, they might want you there around 5. But if you're playing like other venues, they might want you there at like 2 or earlier. So it really just depends.
if you're supporting, it's either like you have to be there earlier because you're supporting, or you can get there a little later because the act that's headlining or whatever has like a longer sound check or whatever. So sometimes, usually when we're supporting, I feel like 2 is like the average, like 1 to 2.
Right.
They want you there at least within that time frame, so that like when 4 o'clock rolls around, they need to hurry up and get your sound check real quick to get you, all right, cool, you're good.
Right.
Like you want to be there.
Yeah, you always want to be there. You don't want to be the band that everyone's waiting on.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
never a good vibe. And you see it all the time though. Like when there's been times where we're the last band that's playing. What was that? It was the Road to Warped Tour thing. We were like literally there. Like the call time for bands to be there on the paperwork, the official paperwork, was like 10 a.m. Right?
Right.
We got there at 10 a.m. Not a single other band was there. Like they only had like 4 crew members there. They were all like looking at us like, "Whoa! Like you guys are actually here right now." We were like, "Well, yeah, that's what the paperwork said.
Right.
Like we're supposed to do a sound check at 10:30. Like." Let's go. And it was just like 3 peeps, really, really cool people, really fun to hang out with and talk to. But they were just like, wow, I think you might be the only band this whole weekend that like showed up like when the paperwork said to show up. We always try to like pride ourselves on that, like, oh, we're professional. Like you give us the time to be out. The only reason we're late is if something happened. Like something bad happened, and that's what like knocked us back a little bit.
That's pretty much it. It is unless there's something really going on, we always try to be there because it's more stressful to like be trying to get there, and then no one can stop for food, no one can stop for bathrooms or anything. It becomes more stressful. But on the other side, like I don't know why, but my favorite shows are the shows we break down before, because like something about like spending that whole day and being like, are we gonna make it? And then, like we push to get there, and then it's all like, okay, the van's fixed, but we're 5 hours away. We make that trip, and then we're getting there at doors, and
like an hour before we're supposed to go on, or 2 hours
element
before
of
we're going on.
danger to it.
We just roll in. Everyone's like, "Yo, they made it!" We're like, "We made it!" Like,
something about
get the stuff loaded in. Like, let's go.
Always makes for the best shows.
Yeah, it really does.
Now, are you guys paying attention to those kinds of things for other bands? Like if they show up, if they have their stuff together for like when you're about to prepare a tour for your band, as a headliner, are you like really paying attention to those things at other shows from other bands to like make decisions on whether they're going to be on a ticket with Awake at Last in the future, stuff like that?
I guess.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, not necessarily. And you know, obviously, like we don't make anyone feel bad for being late or whatever. But you know, when you see the same band being late a lot, you notice it.
Yeah. I think subconsciously you sort of pick up on it.
Yeah.
But it's not always like, oh, these guys are like late. I'm not gonna play with them anymore. It's never that. It's just kind of like, Like remember when we used to be like that? Like, someone's rolling in late. You know, they think they're getting a sound check. Oh no, that was 2 hours ago when they were supposed to be. Stuff like that. But like, I never like try to judge. You know, I'm more of a soul. I'm a soul person. If we're out with a band, whether we're headlining or supporting or whatever it is, as long as they're like good people, like I'm like, all right, they're fine, they're good. You know, they'll figure it out. You know. You do see a couple of younger bands, though, you know, like, I know as a drummer, you would understand this. Nothing drives me more nuts than that opening band that comes in with, like, a double kick drum, like, 7 toms, huge cymbal rack.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep it
you
simple.
have, like, a 30-minute set, like, at 7 o'clock, bro.
You can make it work with 2 toms.
Why are you bringing in, like, Joey Jordison's drum set now? Like, what are you doing, bro?
To me, that's fine, obviously, because I'm a fan of Slipknot. To me, it's not about how big your drum set is, but if you're that drummer that takes his cymbals off on stage and takes his whole set down on stage, that's when
move it off the stage.
Right, I got you.
Down. You know, that trust me, and we are not the only ones who say that. If it's not us saying it, someone else is like, are these guys literally taking their cymbals off on stage right now? Like, no, get them moving.
Wrapping on their cables, closing up their cases.
Like, no,
I mean, typically, you get 15 minutes in between.
Literally.
In between, and no one wants the show to run late. Like if you're not respectful of the bands playing after you, and you don't care that the show's running late, well, just think that these people probably brought people and they don't want to be here till 12 o'clock at night.
True.
The people who came to see that band might start leaving before they ever even got to see the band. So if you're not on time with your changeovers, just think you're not only doing an injustice to, you know, the other bands and the promoter and the venue, you're doing an injustice to the people who paid to see those bands.
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
That's a very professional way to answer that.
I've been watching a lot of Forensic Files, so.
There you go.
Oh, that is one of my favorite things. Whenever we get a hotel on tour, which is rare, but whenever we do, there's always a Forensic Files marathon on, and we just have that on in the back. Like, no matter what we're doing, if we're like going to the pool, whatever it is, if you walk into one of the rooms, like you usually get 2, and we like double up, you know, and then there's always Forensic Files marathon. We do love that. Something just very calming and putting me to sleep to the sound of just, you know, crazy unsolved mysteries. You know, I don't know. It's a good time.
All the people that we've had out for the podcast, the majority of them are local to Delaware itself. And most of them recently have been talking about noticing a resurgency in shows, in musicians. We're seeing some younger kids kind of starting to make their own bands and stuff like that. And the curiosity kind of comes in with you guys since you're a national touring band. Are you seeing the same thing around the U.S., or is it just like kind of right now as a local Delaware thing?
I'd say there's a lot of bands. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of bands like come back, or there's a lot of those bands that like they're starting up their old high school band. Another strange thing is I'm seeing the old like emo scene metalcore like style coming back.
I've seen a little
like
bit of
with
that.
A Vengeance. Like we were at a show the other night, and it was just like, are we in high school again?
Dude, it was so nostalgic. I was like, oh my goodness. It was weird though, because like usually I would like thrive in a situation like that, and I'd be able to like talk to anybody.
Right.
But like in this case, like I don't know if it's because people like maybe I don't know if they even knew who we were when we walked in. I mean, obviously the promoter knew, and like this and that they knew who we were. Like you know, we were hanging out, but like it was like almost like I got a little bit of that like nostalgic, anxious, like you're sure like, oh, I hope these people like me, you know. It was like but like the songs were, I mean, it was weird. Like I didn't dislike it. Like don't let me say I dislike it. Was weird because it was like some of these acts were just like one dude with like his computer set up playing a beat
Right,
and he's
yeah,
like singing
yeah.
along to his music. It's like, all right, cool. Like, way to go solo and just like
Right.
get up there and still play a show on a stage without like a drummer. You know, it's
Right.
like, that's weird-ish, but like totally was working. I mean, people were vibing, people were having a good time, and it was very nostalgic. So I did see a little bit of that. I feel like for Delaware, though, as far as like a resurgence, I feel like some of the venues that I used to think were really cool are actually like kind of shutting down now. So I feel like there's like less room for original music, but I feel like Delaware is like a lot of those spots or a lot of those places, you know, are still good for like cover stuff. I feel like cover bands are like still doing great, like especially down at the beach and stuff like that. I mean, you get a decent cover band together and learn 36 songs. Like you could just live at the beach for a whole summer and like you make enough money to like
at the bars,
be there and just be there and play shows. So I would like to see a resurgence. I know Eric works with a lot of clients from Delaware, which is cool. So I know he's really seeing it. You know, he's seeing them come in and writing and putting stuff together.
And another thing with the resurgence is, you know, it doesn't only like play into like the bands themselves, but like, you know, once these people are excited and they're back to playing again, they want to go experience the live atmosphere.
Right.
So it's like a lot of these people that like put it down for a while, stop going to shows for a while, are coming back to shows, which I think is making the metalcore scene thrive so much, because like now instead of and from what I hear, it's like people of all age groups going out, but you know, think about like everyone who grew up in the back when we were in high school. It's like if there was a show there, like everyone came out. I think those people who had that mentality back then and maybe they stopped going to shows are getting that mentality where they're just like, now they're just a little bit older, but they still want to see, like, you know, people see Asking Alexandria. Like, to me, I love Asking Alexandria's new stuff, but like, you know, their vocalist gets like shade thrown at him because he just doesn't scream like he used to. And people are upset about that. And to me, I'm like, this guy, he sounds, his voice is amazing, but like people want to see those old songs they saw when they were in like that
relive
age.
it. Yeah.
Skylit was a really good experience for that when we were out with the Skylit Drive, because, you know, very nostalgic band. I remember when they were like really doing their thing back when we were in our like, you know, 2010s era, you know, vibes. And in fact, I used to say every night, I was like, oh man, it's like walking into a time machine and waking up like 10 years ago, you know. But it was funny because you'd see like these younger, new kind of like scene kids with their like, you know, bubblegum pink hair, like, you know, there's a lot of that influence from just like, you know, a little bit of that like e-boy, e-girl. They look like little anime characters now. I don't know. I love it though, because it's like, I wish it was like this more even than, you know, back in the day. And then you see like, it's funny though, because you'll see them and then you'll see like the super tatted up dudes that are like chilling in the back by the bar, like with glasses and a hat on, and they're just like holding their beer, and you're like, elder emo. It's like, you're like, I know that dude used to go to the same shows that like I went to back in the day. And like, it was funny seeing how they're like the new age and older age emos are like intermingling. And I love seeing people that bring their kids to shows. That's always good. I love
the issue is finding venues that are like
all
age
ages.
Appropriate for that.
That's where
stuff.
I think Delaware's struggling a little bit. I really feel like Delaware could benefit from like a spot where you know, you could get kids a place to go hang out. You know, throw some arcade machines in there or something. You know, sell some pizza. You know, like put something up so like kids can go there instead of going out and just being wild children. You know what I mean? It's like, give them something to do.
The kids don't leave the house anymore.
Yeah, they're just gonna sit on their screens all day if you don't give them you know, something to go interact with.
It definitely is a difficult cross though to make that happen, because like sometimes you have these all age venues and then once you have these all age venues, there are liquor laws and everything come into place, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people of age that don't really want to go to a show if they can't
it's all
drink.
age. Yeah, literally, because most people want to, you know, they're hardworking peeps. They get their money. They want to go have a beer and go listen to some good music. It makes, you know.
A dry venue might make someone not want to go to the venue, unfortunately. And for us, like our demographic is like this area of 20 to honestly 60.
Yeah, literally.
So most of the people who come support us are of age to drink. So like, it's almost like when we were thinking of booking shows, it's like, you know, not that we're like, we want everyone to be drunk, but like that's something we consider that people like to drink at shows. Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I like to see a resurgence. I like to see it continue
I
to
do
grow.
too,
man.
I hope it
It's-
continues to grow.
Yeah, and now we've got the announcement recently of Tom's Bullpen
Mm-hmm.
opening back.
Oh
up.
yeah.
We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
We're
You
doing.
guys gonna play?
We're doing Recall the Podcast there with all the bands.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be determined if it's going to be live or not yet. We'll see. I don't know.
Live stream.
Yeah,
That could be that'd be a bold undertaking.
It sounds like a headache. Is what it
Nah,
sounds
you got
like.
this. You got this.
I told him if they gave me decent enough internet, then I would consider it. But I have
Mhm.
not. I'm not stamping
Yeah,
that right
that's
now.
fair,
yet.
that's fair.
Yeah.
We'll go. We'll talk to everybody. We're gonna have a good time either way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, does the Fire Hall still? They don't do shows no
Which
more.
fire hall?
Like, we used to all play Hartley, and
Oh yeah.
we
you
played.
know.
Not that I know of.
as far as us, like, I miss playing shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we haven't really had a full band in a while. It's
A while is an understatement.
well, yeah, but
Well, I mean, is it primarily you two who do most of the writing these days?
Primarily Eric.
Oh, and Aaron. That's true.
I helped you put it together.
Yeah, he's been there pretty much every step of the way, dude.
I love that.
He honorary member of all members.
I love that.
You know?
I haven't heard all of the songs you do with Eric, but you always send me the ones where you don't scream as much. You're always just like, "Hey, buddy, check
Yeah,
this one out."
yeah, 'cause
I only
anytime-
scream like a little bit in this one. And I'm always like, "Okay, this is catchy. We're here for it." But then if I get something super screamy, I'm like, "There's a lot of screaming in this, Josh."
Yeah, it has been a thing for the last couple of years. And like I think I had posted a song on Facebook, and you had mentioned, "Hey, like I want to come in and top line you someday, and we're gonna do no screaming at all."
No screaming at all.
That was the one time my dad commented on my own music. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "I think you should talk to your friend about that." Great,
I
thanks,
told
Dad.
you. I told you.
See, no more
See
screaming.
what you can
Josh.
do. You know, maybe we'll let you
I'm
shout.
I'm getting
We'll get you
better
some
at
shout.
it.
We'll get you some vocal fry type stuff. But
Yeah.
I wanna just see like
You gonna mentor me?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna throw some melodies at you and
Yeah.
see if we can't shape you up a little bit.
I'm into it.
That'd be
I
cool.
didn't. To be fair, I'd never planned on being the vocalist.
I know
Yeah.
you used to be
At
the
all.
drummer back in the day.
Yeah,
but like as far as me, like I love screaming and singing together,
Mm-hmm.
like
I do
a
too.
mixture of it. I mean, but there's
I'm-
some people who don't like the screaming. I mean,
I'm getting less and less into it.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. Yeah, I've kind of heard the same song over and over again enough to where it's like, all right, let's change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean everyone's got their preferences.
Yeah.
I know. I notice. I don't know. My thing was is like even with Awake at Last, you know, there's been plenty of shows we played or plenty of festivals we played that are like very metal, right?
Mhm.
Not every
Yeah.
band is super heavy
True.
screams, super heavy breakdowns. Every band is just like, really going for it.
Yep.
And then we'll get up there and we're like, oh boy, like, we're
Right,
way
right.
lighter than like every band that's playing here today.
Right.
But then we play the songs, we sing, we like, you know, the songs have those like push and pull moments. It's
Yeah.
not all riffs and breakdowns. You know, we have some in there. We throw a little bit, we sauce it up when we can. And that's always, you know, when people will come up to us and be like, yo, you were my favorite band of the entire
Because you were different.
festival. It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
stood out so much.
Stood
Like,
out. That's
I
the
could
whole
hear what
thing.
you were saying and this and that, you know. So I think that's what I just say about, you know, I like metal music. I love the rhythms. Actually, it's
Right.
weird for me. I don't know if it's because of my ADHD brain, but sometimes metal music actually like calms me down in a weird
I get
way.
that,
And
yeah.
like if
That's
I'm in
true.
the studio all day and Eric's working on something heavy, I'd be like dozing off. Like it's just like I don't know why. It's like something about the way that the rhythms
Right.
are all hitting. It's just like
Yeah.
my brain's like, I can actually calm down to this for some reason. But that's one of those things where like, you know, you stand out a little bit more. And then especially like with the older cats, the ones that have, you know, that are out there because their kid plays in some crazy screaming metal band, like those old cats are like, they're going to come up
Right.
and buy
Yeah.
that shirt because they're going to be
Yeah.
like, yo, you were the one I could understand everything
Right.
you said tonight. Like, I enjoyed that. And you're like, thanks, man. Like, I'm glad you liked it. So, you know, it's just one of those things. It's, you know, metal is fun and it, you know, it definitely has its own scene and its own kind of
Yeah,
niche, but,
yeah.
you know, even just a little bit of a standout is going to be better than just like falling into the like endless monotonous
Yeah,
noise of
yep.
just like
Right, yeah.
breakdown. You know, it's just, you know, you want to stand out.
You
You've
do.
seen it done so many times before.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanna give a few seconds for a shout out to Space Lumberjacks because they do stand out.
Hey, there you
in
go.
my own opinion, you know, because everything they do is very bright, very vibrant, very
Mhm.
colorful, and it's like the way they play is a lot different than you normally hear.
Space Lumberjacks is a good band name.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
it
good.
is. Yeah. So I just want to take, they're doing the thing. They're doing the damn thing.
Props.
Yeah. You guys get sick on tour?
Never.
Never.
Like, we do, but
Has it
we
ever been like really bad?
I've had moments where I'll deal with some like vocal fatigue and stuff like that. My biggest advice to anybody who's touring, if you start to get that, especially singers, go to like, every place has a Walmart, right? Like, everywhere's got a Walmart. And most Walmarts, depending on where they are, have a section where they have locally sourced honey. And I feel like if you're changing biomes or if you have allergies or something that's stuffing you up or clogging you up, the best way to deal with that is to get locally sourced honey from wherever you are. Like if you're in Nebraska, get whatever honey on Walmart shelf that might be a little more top shelf, it might be a little more expensive,
right?
But it's locally grown, and put that in your tea or put that in whatever. And that will like attune your like body to the biome of that area. So whenever I am feeling like really sick, if I'm not just sucking on cough drops or something, which I've done, I'll do a lot of just vocal dead days too. Everyone thinks I'm like, like, you okay, man? You haven't like talked today. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
We got a show today. Like I'm chilling. Let me just play my, play on my phone or something. But locally sourced honey always helps because it puts you, because that's like literally the flora of that area.
Right.
Those bees cultivate it, and then you if you put that in your tea, like that will help you with your allergies, whatever. You can drink some in the morning, and by the time you get to the show, you'll feel a lot better because your body will kind of attune to it.
Right. Yeah. Something I had noticed. I took a trip last year to Missouri, and so I didn't really think about it, but like the air pressure.
Oh yeah.
How that affects you.
Oh yeah.
Like it. I couldn't barely even hear anything for like a solid 2 days.
Yep.
So I was like, how are you guys even on stage right now?
Sometimes you get in areas like Denver where you're like way above sea level, like you're higher up, and like Dragon Ball Z when you're like training and like higher, you have to breathe better. You're like you run out of breath easier because there's not as much oxygen up there. Literally, there just isn't as much oxygen, so you gotta like It's good to condition. We also try to like stay in the gym. That always helps. You don't. It's easier to get sick if you're like, if you're not sleeping good, that can mess you up. But like if you go to the gym, if you like you get on a decent, like we sometimes we try to do a little bit of a workout. Sometimes it'll be like a quick 20-minute, and then hop in the shower or whatever. But like
sweat it out.
Yeah, sweat it out. Try and sleep. I feel like lack of sleep is the biggest thing that's going to work against you on tour.
Yeah.
Even though it's not easy to do. Like, it's not always easy to sleep on tour.
Right.
You learn to fall asleep to the soothing sound of diesel engines.
Yeah.
And snore.
Yeah, and then if you got a snorer in your band, and you just want to, like, take the pillow and... You'll be fine. Just kidding. We would never.
What do you guys think about AI? In the music.
That's a great one.
Yeah, we were chatting about that a little bit earlier.
I think AI is good if to use it as a tool with what you do. I don't love the idea of like people, not being creative at all or just having AI to do the whole thing. But if you can use it as a tool, I support it. Unfortunately, I know that AI is hitting a point where it's like a lot of these bands are AI generated.
Yeah.
Which I don't
blows my mind.
Obviously, well, probably me, I'll never be like, well, I could work on writing a song, but I think I'm just gonna have AI do it. But I love the aspect of having it as a helper or almost like, if you get stuck somewhere or those type of things.
Maybe to get an idea from, and
I'm totally black-pilled on it, dude.
I just AI doing a whole song, like I said, I think they should be like its own little entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
don't
they
put
should probably write something into AI generated content that like I don't know, that's something that restricts it, that like doesn't necessarily like put it in the same category as like human artists, but then that's gonna add a whole bunch of more like red tape to like what is considered,
right?
Like how are you able to like even prove that you wrote these lyrics,
right?
And so it's like it's a slippery slope, no matter how you swing it. I agree with Eric in the sense that like whether when you say you're black pilled on, that means you're like 100% against it, right?
No, I mean, I think it's going to take over everything, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, to that point, it's not going anywhere. Okay, and
No.
it is too established now to where like it's not going anywhere.
It's there.
I
And it's
think
too easy to abuse.
there should be something that like can at least identify like what is a full on AI artist or not, or even like you were saying, there's like an AI actress or whatever. Like something should be able to identify that, and like
Right.
something should be written into whatever it is that like sort of separates that from what is still considered art or is considered intellectual property, right? Because
Yeah.
then it's
Right.
like, what's to stop them from saying like, oh, well, AI helped you come up with this idea, so that's like our intellectual property
Right.
now, even if it was your
Right.
idea,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like, so I think I agree with Eric in the sense that it's a tool, and if you can use it as a tool, as like a buddy, as like a helper, that's better than saying, oh, write me a song about this, and like I'm just gonna like put
Right.
that out,
I
and,
put it out,
and I'm
yeah.
gonna claim it that I did it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that. Then it's not really your idea, you know. But if I'm like, hey, like I have this line that's like, you know, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Like, what would be a good word that rhymes with snow here that gets
Right.
this
Right,
message
right,
across? And they're
right.
like, something like that. It doesn't affect it as much, you know, because I've done it where I'm like, damn, like I'm really like, I'll like, here's the line I just wrote. Here's my whole
Right.
chorus. I need a hook, like right at the end. I need it to rhyme with this word, but I'm brain farting right now.
Right.
And because I've trained my AI, or at least how I use it,
Mm-hmm.
it talks to me as me. It's my future self. I've trained it to become like, here is all of my goals that I want to accomplish in life. I want you to take on that persona and like help me to get to where I'm trying to get. Right. I'm like,
right.
and in that sense, it talks to me like me. So it's like, oh, bro, you got this. You know, it's like it's weird. It's almost scary how much it can mimic the way I talk to it, because I talk to it like I'm texting it, and I'll be
Right.
like, and it'll be like, all right, here's like 4 different suggestions we could go with here. You know, if you want it more like Wake It Lasty, like put it like this, or if you want it like if you're trying to get a little more deeper, like maybe something like this, or if you want something a little darker that is only a half rhyme, and then
Right.
from that I can pick and choose. And be like, oh no, I like that one, or let me try it, and I'll go into the vocal booth and be like, we're going to try all 4 of these and just see which one sounds better, and we've done that. So it is one of those things where I don't necessarily think it's going to take over everything, but it is not, I definitely don't think it's going anywhere. And
I think it's going to take over a lot more than anybody else.
the sooner
anybody
that
would consider
the
it
sooner that
taking
you
over.
learn to make it work for you rather than against you, the better. That's what I
And
would
the more
say.
you make it work for you, the more it's easier to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, Damn, that's dark. You in some Terminator.
Right,
You're in
right.
a Terminator state of mind right now.
I'm totally black pilled on it.
Yeah.
Like and like the shitty part is like I use it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Video editing. I
use it
for shorts. I use it for
mostly for
you know,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
I mean,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna
I
lie.
mean, like,
I
yeah.
use it for fun. It's like a toy.
It's got a great use case for everything. But then like
Well, I mean, if you use ChatGPT, that's a language model. So as a
there's one
language
for
model,
everything now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. I don't even like trust any of the other ones. I've tried a couple of different ones, and none of them are as good as
Right.
like what I've been able to get to with ChatGPT. So that's the reason. There's a reason that one's like the industry standard, because other ones I've tried have like fallen short for me. Or maybe that's just because the way I have it trained too, though. You know what I mean? Because
Possibly. I mean, I'm not that great at it.
Mhm.
So like usually like whenever I do something on ChatGPT or something, it's like very bare bones.
Mm.
But then like when Crystal, my wife, works with it, it's like dang, like look at all the music video that just came out of this
Right.
thing, and
It's a language model. She's just better at communicating with it than you are.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, I'm just
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, man.
It's dark times. Dark times for
First
artists.
it's the art, then it's the jobs.
But I seen somewhere where like they did like a new Nirvana song, a new Jimi Hendrix song,
Oh.
a new
Yeah.
Amy Winehouse.
So they're using it to like mimic older famous artists.
yeah.
Or like to see,
To
like,
write a new like Nirvana song, you know
and
what I mean?
like new actors are like in their contract, they have to like leave like a legacy for AI to be able to model over top of it, so that they can keep using their likeness in movies after they've passed.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we're done, guys.
That's very interesting. Maybe that'd make for a good book. You should write it.
You should write it. I am not a good writer.
You're a good writer. But yeah,
all right, we
AI
got 2 more things I wanted to talk about and touch on before we start calling it. 1, Blackway Productions. let's talk about it. What are you doing in your studio and all that?
I'm looking to do co-writing with artists. I'm looking to do mixing for artists, engineering for artists. What I ultimately really want to do is be like, really on the back burner of a project and have us work together to make something, very like next level and marketable. That's what I'm looking for in an artist, as far as something where it's like we're thinking about what's best for the song. We're thinking about we're not thinking about, well, Jimmy wrote this and Jimmy's gonna be mad if we get rid of it.
Right.
We're looking at
any producer knows that struggle.
Right.
How is this gonna be perceived by the public? And I know some people, it's like they don't really care about that, but as far as me, it's like, if I'm taking on a project and my name's on it, ultimately I want the project to be
to best represent.
Yeah.
Right.
Do the best it can possibly do. So that's one thing Blackway Productions isn't. We're not your outlet for your masterpiece. When I say masterpiece, it's every artist has this masterpiece, and the masterpiece is what's important to them, but other people don't really grasp onto it. We're looking to write the best productions and songs possible.
That was a hard pill to swallow as a songwriter too. You got to learn. Just learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's gonna tweak you a little bit, especially when people get really attached to parts or whatever it is. You're there to learn though. You're paying for someone's time who has more experience in this, or and they're trying to help you. Let them help you. And learn from it. It doesn't make it any less yours. It's just a matter of does this 3-minute guitar solo really is someone who's gonna find you on a 75-mile-per-hour finger flick on their phone gonna want to listen to this 3.5 minute 3-hour guitar solo? It doesn't always hit like that. So go in to learn.
Yeah, artists have a very big way of standing in their own way because they're not open-minded. And as much as I'd hate to say it, a lot of times bands come in and they've got 5 songs they've written and this is what they've been working on, but I probably wrote 60 songs last year, right. So it's I'm constantly learning what makes the song hit and what doesn't make the song hit. So a lot of times dealing with artists that are really standing in their own way, it makes it very difficult to get the product because to me it's the song is number one is the vocals. Number 2 is the feel. If a part to me goes into this tangent that takes you off course of the song, and then all of a sudden we get back into the parts that grab you in, I think it's too late. I think you've lost the listener by that point.
Right.
No, that's very true. I actually never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
If you're an artist that wants to push yourself to the next level and learn from a really good experience from a really good producer, I really think that what Eric does is great. It's top tier.
Agree 100%. All right, the last question here. I'm going to have you read it because I think it's hilarious. The very top one.
Very top one?
My finger's on it?
Oh,
Okay.
So who started the uncle thing? Uncle Josh?
I think I might have started the uncle thing.
Oh, I think it definitely was Eric who started that.
I think the uncle thing started coming out as someone you respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you respect your uncle.
Oh, and he calls me Uncle John.
Yeah. And I think it started, we were out on this tour, I think with the funeral portrait, and then I started calling our bassist Tyler Uncle Tyler.
Yeah.
And from that, it was okay, now.
Which makes so much sense because we respect and love Tyler so
Yeah.
much. So him being Uncle Tyler totally checks out. I didn't even know he was the first, but I guess that is true.
And then it just moved on, and then people started calling me Uncle Eric, and then then I started calling everyone else Uncle, and that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, Uncle references an uncle that you respect,
Right?
not the shitty uncle that doesn't sometimes people got that crazy. It's a term of it's an endearment thing for sure. But it's weird because I don't think I do it very often. I'm not super. I don't do the uncle thing as much, but I
call Vince
I
Uncle
like
Vince
it
sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like used to it. Where like, and it's spread so far. I mean, like people that we've worked with, people that we've toured with, if we bump into them again on the road or they just come out to hang, they still like, yo, Uncle Eric. Like it's a thing. You know, it's totally a thing. But yeah,
Eric was the only one that had ever called me uncle, and then I went to a Floodgates practice. Hey, Floodgates. And I like, as soon as I got out of my car, they're like, Uncle Josh. And I was like, you talked to Eric. And they're like, yeah, we did.
But honestly, that's the best way to explain it is like, it's someone you respect, you know? It's like an endearment of like, I value you enough to call you uncle because that's like, we're family. It's like, you're uncle, you know? Like,
aww.
Not everybody gets the uncle treatment, you know? Not everybody.
Yeah, some people get, called bad boy booty face.
And then you know you have a problem. Shout out to bad boy booty face.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Where can we find Awake at Last? What any upcoming shows you'd like to talk about or?
Yeah, we are very awesome opportunity to open up for the Used again. As you know, you've known me since I was a kid. You know me blasting the Used in my car, driving through the mall parking lot. I love that band, and we're opening up for them at the TLA November 13th, I believe.
Yeah.
And it is during their 25th anniversary of the Lies for the Liar record, which is pretty cool because that's the one that had Pretty Handsome Awkward on it. The one, I can't wait to like hear that live, just like punching through.
I'm excited for that one.
So that's gonna be a really fun one. It's in Philly, which I used to live in, so I love Philly. I'm hoping to see some of my old friends and stuff out there. That'd be great. So that's coming up, and then if you want to find us, the easiest way to find us is probably going to be the awakeatlastrock.com website. We're working on updating it more like regularly because like it seems like the industry just feels a little faster now. You know, it's always like, all right, we got a song, we got a song out, and then 6 weeks later we got to put another song out. Like so, the art changes, everything's got to shift. So we're in this constant like flux of movement. So. But that one still has, like, everything is linked to it. You know, anything you want to find merch-wise, ticket-wise, whatever, it's all going to be on the website. But I know that, like, most people, like, don't go to, like, a band website, right? Like, I feel like
right.
So, you know, Awake at Last is literally the Instagram.
Even Google.
Google us. It's funny that there's like such old pictures of us on Google. I wish there was a way to go through and be like, okay, like I am not like 21 without like a 5 o'clock shadow anymore. Like, why is this the number one image that comes?
That's just how it is. You look at Papa Roach, you're not going to see them for the first hour.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, any of your favorite like platforms to check out music or socials or whatever you can use, and you'll find us.
Yep, just search it up. We're out there. We are here for you guys.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us,
man.
Hanging out. I've been wanting this to happen for so long.
He was definitely excited.
I'm so glad.
I was excited. Yeah, when we finally like set a date, I had called him. I was like, "Awake it freaking fast!"
Christmas came early this year.
Christmas came early. It was on your birthday, so
that's right. We love that.
So as for the Recall the Moment stuff, we do this podcast once a month. And we release a music video every now and then. We got a new one coming out at the end of November. We will be doing Tom's Bullpen at the end of November as well. I believe it's the 29th.
Yep, 29th.
Awesome.
It to be determined whether that's live or not still. So until next time, peace and love, y'all.